Hi, everybody. We're back.
Hello.
Hello.
What happened? What happened there, Lucas?
Just a little bit of everything. And it all kind of happened. So anyway, welcome back, everybody. It's been a hot minute since we were here gracing your screens. I don't actually know when this is airing, as per usual. So, at this point, I don't have a lot in the way of announcements, other than probably going over stuff you've likely already heard from us on Ramblemancy or through our announcements on Discord. Uh, Basically, right now, we are either in the middle of or have already basically completely rethought how to do stuff on our Patreon. So if you are one of our patrons or are considering being one of our patrons, this information should be helpful to you in some way, depending on which stage we're in. So,
There's so many hypotheticals.
it's so weird trying to do announcements for the future,
Yeah.
for an uncertain time in the future. But anyway, the point is that is something that we are either doing or have already done, and we are currently just completely revamping how we do it, both so that it's easier for us to fulfill and also so that you get more useful stuff out of it. So that's kind of what we're working on doing now or in the last couple of months. So if it's already done, you can go and check out our Patreon, and it will all be kind of laid out there for what you can possibly what fun little extras you could get from Rule of Lore, while also supporting your favorite TTRPG channel. um, I don't think we have a whole lot of other announcements other than that, although other than our usual stuff, which today is presumably a Wednesday, unless something catastrophic has changed in the time since we filmed this. So this Friday, you can find us on, well, most Fridays, you can find us on Ramblemancy at 6 p.m. Pacific time, talking about all kinds of nerdy stuff, or just kind of everything, actually. Really, it just depends on the day. So if you want to know the specifics about this week's Ramblemancy, you can check out our Discord, because that is where we will have announcements about all that kind of stuff, and we'll have laid out who any potential guests might be and what the topic might be. Also, entirely possible that as I am saying this right now in the Twitch chat, somebody has answered that question. So, who knows? I don't. I'm in the past. Anyway, I think that's all I've got as far as like Rule of Lore specific announcements. Anybody have anything specific? I mean, I know John and Bree have something currently happening, but like,
I don't think it's gonna be happening.
it's not going to be
It's
happening in the future at the time that this is airing.
Yeah, if you backed I Crave the Loop a month ago or whatever indeterminate amount of time that is, check your email. There's probably stuff from Backer Kid in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, updates.
Yeah.
Man.
Stay tuned, because we're gonna be having another Kickstarter in the months to come. So.
All right. Cool. I think we're just going to go ahead and jump on into the title sequence. And we're back. Hello. I was trying to erase the title sequence so I could give Scriv their captions back, and it did not work.
You don't want captions. You don't want the words to come from my mouth recorded. Fine.
Lucas,
You're an hour never, baby.
this is actually just one long practice session for Lucas's caption percent run.
Yeah, exactly. Although lately it seems like our captioning software, like the way that it works, or rather doesn't, is basically like caption speed run any percent. So it's kind of what it feels like most of the time. But I'll adjust my camera one more time, and then we will actually get into this episode. Okay, so when we last left off, our survivors here had managed to find themselves in an actually pretty solid position. They had taken over the bunker that had previously, before the end of the world, had belonged to an apocalypse death cult. That prior to anyone's knowledge of how the virus actually spreads, had all quite literally drank the Kool-Aid and unfortunately left the bunker full of undead. However, working together with Kit's group, they had managed to pull together a solid plan and execute pretty well, clearing the bunker of the presence of the dead and managing to make their way inside. Upon doing so, however, realizing that the generator was down and was separated from them by a flooded section of the bunker that would require them to go for a frigid and terrifying swim in the dark. So, while on their way there, Casey and Gabby and Kit, Casey and Gabby learned some interesting stuff about Kit, and as they got ready to take a dive into the drink, Kit revealed some of her bites, which there were a
Plural.
lot more. Huh?
Plural.
Yes. There were a lot more of them than there were when they'd last been with Kit. Saving that for a future conversation, they moved on, getting attacked by excuse me, something within the depths of this bunker.
Nasty fish zombies.
Nasty fish zombies. They managed to get the generator up and running, however, at a cost. Jump-starting that generator the way that they did made it so that if that generator ever goes down again, they're not going to be able to jump it up the same way. So while the bunker has power, there is a solid possibility that if that generator, or if the power, it's hydroelectric power, and basically if the generator ever stops again, you won't be able to jump start the power using the gas generator basically again. So after dealing with the sort of newish variety of zombie that they killed in the depths of the bunker, the group sort of settled in, having weathered a simultaneous attack from Seth McCabe's group from Salida. And with no way into the bunker, Seth's group peeled off their attack and disappeared back into the foothills of the mountains. And I think we'll go ahead and pick up just a little bit after that. I'm going to say kind of in what has basically been turned into kind of a command center for this bunker, with several sort of large tables pushed together to create sort of like a larger planning surface. James and Maisel, currently you have Ron present, with blueprints of the bunker sort of spread out in front of you, showing you a lot of the layout, and James sort of nodding at Ron's explanation of some of the power systems that, while still technically intact, need some work. James is kind of nodding and says, "All right, this looks good, Ron. Let me know whatever you need, and I'll have we can have." He looks at you, Maisel. He says, "We can have one of yours do some inventory for our spare parts and things like that, whatever we've got."
Yeah, I think we already have someone working on it. Going through, doing inventory. Bree forgets the name of her, but yes, we have someone working on it, doing inventory on weapons, food, whatever this bunker has to offer. So that's our first order of business.
That's Camilla.
Camilla, thank you.
James nods, says, "All right, I'm gonna make sure my people are settled in, and just make sure everybody's got some place to sleep. I know there's some bunk rooms that we've found already that look clear and are in, well, they don't look like they were used much, or at all, so they don't need much in the way of scrubbing."
That's good.
He looks at you, Maisel, and he says, "Hey, we did good here today."
Yeah, we did. Thanks for all your help.
Likewise. And he turns to one of his and goes, "Chuck, how's the door?" And he kind of goes off to how's Maisel doing right now?
Definitely, if anyone, is Ron still there? Or is Maisel alone? Okay. If Ron's still there, Maisel's still, acting as though she's got everything together.
Yeah.
She's, looking over everything and, making notes of basically tasks that she is planning to, delegate out to people. Of, what Camilla needs to look for, what she's gonna ask Casey to do in terms of, sort of kind of poll everybody to, see what their, ideas for what the bunker would be, and sort of, get, a community, idea of, what people are interested in, what people want to invest in, and things like that. In terms of how the bunker, the community wants the bunker, have people start setting up bedding and a place to clean and clothe themselves, and all of these different things, as well as Ron and the future projects that basically just kind of writing everything down that she was had in her mind of what she wants to have done, or what she thinks is a good idea to have done for the bunker for the winter, to have everyone be as comfortable as possible.
Sounds good. And Ron, by the way, while you're doing this, Ron is also he's not really focused on you at all. He's also kind of making notes on the blueprints, where you can tell what he's doing is sort of checking writing down, making notes of sections that need to have wiring checked and things like that. So he's not actively engaged with you at the moment. He's just sort of there. And, yeah.
If Basil were alone, she probably wouldn't be doing this, but the fact that someone else is there is making her be okay, I need this. I'm still with I have a job to do, and I'm basically, Maisel is prepping to delegate tasks out to other people, because she personally knows that she's on a thin ice of emotional stability.
I think just after a few minutes, Ron will sort of roll up one of the blueprints, and he looks at you and says, "I am going to go ahead and I'm going to trace some of these, make some copies, make sure that there's a bunch of these around." And
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he heads off, and Maisel, you're not alone in the room anymore, or you're not alone in the room still, but nobody is immediately around you. They're mostly still setting up this area as a sort of, basically a kind of command room or planning room kind of thing. So yeah.
She'll like rip up the paper that she's using in like little chunks to like hand out to people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then do we have a map of the the area that we are in, terrain wise, city wise?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah, there's a
like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like, do we have like a map based like do we have our Roll20 map in real life now?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
And you have, I would say that you have two different maps. One being like the sort of road atlas that you were using to get here, and then the other being like one in the bunker in sort of like set in like basically like a shadow box kind of thing that is like what you would find at probably like you know those like really fancy rest stops that have like that have like the big map of like the immediate area and like all the other rest stops in the way. It's that kind of thing, but it's sort of like
for this for our territory, basically.
Yeah.
Cool. She's not concerned about that one. She's concerned about the roadmap.
Sure.
And will, when she's alone, bring that over to her and start like making notes on Salida.
Okay. Sounds
of like the things that she remembers, where they escaped, where they entered, the places that she heard from Frankie, where like they were like finding stuff and like and basically just kind of war mapping the area and like finding like the best point of entry, like basically finding the best point of entry, finding how quick it is to get from us to them, where they could have gone, like basically where I think that they would like go, like because we literally just got attacked by them, so it's on her mind right now.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
I was just going to say, I think late in that process, there's probably just a tap on Maisel's right shoulder, and then a plate of food slides in front of her from the left.
You guys are wet and cold.
No, time has passed. We're not fresh from it.
Yeah, we're not, like, I've tried off.
Yeah, Maisel will have basically stayed in that room as people, like, pass her and stuff, working on all of this stuff, with just papers and papers and papers and papers and papers.
Yeah, like a plate of food slides over some of the papers after like a tap on the opposite side of you. Like that classic thing that kids do to each other in school where they walk up behind you, tap your other shoulder, and then walk up the other side.
Yeah, I will turn to the opposite. I will turn to where I know Casey is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been doing that to you for too long.
Are you okay?
Yeah, Casey's wearing like probably 3 different people's sweaters, I think.
Yeah.
Warming up, but otherwise, yeah, fine. We didn't find anything else down there.
Have you guys do we know about the zombie?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
If not from them specifically, Hall has definitely like checked in and reported it.
Okay.
Can I have brought the weird stinky fish zombie back with us?
Oh.
As like hunting trophy.
Where are you gonna
for like the medical types and the scientific types to say like, hey, look what we found. Putting on a brave face. I totally puked when we first fought it.
Absolutely.
And I was in my stomach. I did the spear thing and went but then look. Monster Hunter style.
Wait, did you bring it here to this room?
No, not
thank God.
Not to this room.
I was gonna be like, please no.
Not to this room.
Okay.
It'll be somewhere else. Because I thought that there's some time. Is this like directly after?
It's probably been about like an hour or 2 hours since.
Oh, it's same day though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Basil being very methodical and feverish right after you guys go do the thing. We are fine from Salida.
I would have tried to find Frankie then first.
Okay.
Frankie, look what we found. It's disgusting. Don't breathe in.
Stop breathing.
Kai
Wow.
just sort of looks at you as they walk past and just like, I already told you, A, I'm not that kind of medical person, and B, I'm not looking at that thing.
I have full faith in you.
They turn and look at Hall and just say, I don't know how many more different ways I can say I'm not going to look at this thing.
I can put it somewhere else. Do you have a scalpel?
Yeah, I have a scalp. I am way too tired for this, Gabby. And she just walks away.
Okay. I'll find somewhere to stow it. You want to help me with this? Look at Frankie. It's actually getting a little heavy, and I think I pulled something.
All right, yeah, I'll help you with that. That's we'll put that somewhere.
They've got to have like some sort of walk-in freezer or something, right? Preppers are crazy. There's something.
That's where there's food, though.
Put it in a bag.
Yeah, not with food. Put it in. I don't have a body
Yeah.
bag.
Is it it's decomposing? I'm assuming
Oh yeah. Well, it's been in the water, right? So it's like,
slimy.
why is it not waterlogged? It's so like
It's-
fresh. It's
There's
weird.
so many things I don't understand. I just accept it at this point.
That's probably fair.
An important thing to note as you're looking at it now in like full light is that where like at first you like before you sort of took it for being sort of a like aquatic looking zombie, now you realize it's not. It's just that its unnaturally elongated limbs make it look like it had some sort of like aquatic adaptation, but in reality it doesn't. It just has like very long limbs and digits that kind of make it look like that.
Oh, it's not fishy, just creepy. That's disappointing. I thought we found some sort of weird like new species of zombie or something.
I
This
mean,
is
it's
gross now. I just kind of
Yeah.
kick it.
Well, let's get it out of here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. We got time to find something.
Real quick, Frankie, why don't you go ahead and give me a survival roll?
I love it. Oops, I almost rolled the wrong dice. I think my captions are also broken.
Well,
Oh no.
damn it.
It didn't like when we were
Survival.
going with the fish zombie thing. It said, nope, I'm out.
This is like my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you roll survival and wits because it's on the same column.
Correct.
Cool. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's such. Nothing.
No? Okay, cool.
No sixes.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah,
Out
it's
of
just
all those.
this thing. It smells about as bad as any other one of them that you've ever found, and you are anxious to get it somewhere the hell else.
I was kind
Yeah.
of hoping maybe you'd seen something like this or I don't know, something that jogged your memory from all the scouting.
You guys
'Cause
have all
you ran around a lot, man.
you guys have all seen these, but not since not since you're back in your hometown. Yeah. Mostly this is the first time that you've seen this variety in the last 3 years.
I
Yeah.
think the best thing we can do is we can get it out of the bunker. I think.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't attract other zombies. Or maybe it would have the opposite effect. I don't know. Maybe zombies have like a weird hierarchy.
I
I'm
don't
probably
know.
not quite intelligent enough for that though.
Pitch
I've
it
seen a
over
lot
the
of
dam.
weird things with zombies lately though, so who knows now?
I'll just send it down the river. It's cold enough out there. Maybe it'll just freeze too. I'm not too worried about it.
All right, I'll help you out. I'll grab a towel from somewhere and try to like get some of the residual moisture and guts off of myself.
Oh
before we
yeah,
go
this thing's
outside.
slippery.
Ew.
Um,
Well,
Uh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to use this convenient opportunity to finally catch up with Frankie as we were like
Oh, gotcha.
dragging this
this
twice dead body now
is great.
outside.
So, besides the slaying water zombies, what's like you? Are you good with that?
I'd rather it not be running rampant.
It,
You know. What was the what went down with that attack? 'Cause we were in the tunnels, right?
yeah, Frankie did see
But they weren't
something.
able to get in.
What did Frankie see? I'm trying to recall if Frankie saw the essentially zombie witchcraft.
I don't remember if
trying to
Frankie
remember.
saw it or not.
I think Gabby was the only one.
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, I
Okay.
think Gabby was the
Make
only
sure
one.
that's
Okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Have you
Frankie's perspective is different. Yeah.
have you talked to Kit at all?
Yeah, a bit back before we a little bit before we went to the bunker.
You doing all right? That's probably a stupid question, but I know it was
I
hard
mean-
for all of us to see her again, but especially you, right?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. We'll figure it out.
I think she has been through again, silly observation to make, right? We've all been through a lot, but I think she's really been through like a lot since we last saw her. She's the same, right? She's our Kit, but at the same time, I think she's sort of, I don't know. It's gonna sound crazy, right? She's like a new version of herself, I think. I don't know what to say. I'm still processing a lot of things.
Yeah, you look like it. No, it's
Internal Gabby monologue is going, I really want to say it, but I have a feeling I probably shouldn't bust that secret yet. Oh man, secrets are hard to keep. There's so many things I want to say.
you look like you're about to explode.
You know me so well.
Now, I mean, maybe we should go.
We'll come around.
You know,
I think she probably needs some time. And I don't know. It's nice having her back. It's like the old gang together again, right?
really, it's good to be. And I'm glad that we're in this Not to mention we're in this bunker too. That's. You know how I feel about this whole staying in like a fortress with a bunch of folks, but at the same time it is pretty cold outside, so I'd rather be in here for now.
It's probably safer for now. I know you don't like being confined,
Yeah.
I guess is the word. We'll still have some scouting, you know. Just be careful, because those assholes really know where we are now.
Well, we might as well.
Stuff.
Yeah, we might as well go scouting now, huh? We're already heading out that way with this.
Oh yeah,
Can
as
you
we're
please grab
trudging along.
I'll be fine.
Hmm. You know, you can talk to me if you're not, though. It's okay. Out of all the times where we can say it's okay to not be okay, I think post-apocalyptic Nightmare Land is definitely one of them. I don't think any of us have fully been okay for a long time.
Yeah, we all thought she was dead, and she's not.
Stranger things have happened. Hopefully this is the last of the weird strangeness for a little while. I think we need a break. Just to catch our breath, right?
Yeah, just a little bit at least.
And hopefully no one else will disappear again for a while.
That'd be nice.
All right,
Wonder
so
what-
this is the river. We're gonna dump it in.
So this is the river.
Oh,
All right. I want to before I get to Kit, I just want to make sure that Maisel and Casey, that you get sort of the moment that you were sort of working up to there.
Uh-huh.
I'm clearing my stress. Thanks, bro.
Casey, I think, slides a plate of food in front of Maisel and just says, "Yeah, I think I've pulled that trick on you just a few too many times for that to actually work."
I mean, you get better senses in an apocalypse, I guess.
Yeah, it does wonders to sharpen your reflexes.
Yeah. You're okay though, right? No hypothermia. You're not shivering uncontrollably.
I stopped shivering about 45 minutes ago, so that was nice. That went on for a while.
Oh, well, make sure when Kai's better or not as tired, make sure you get checked just in case.
Speaking of Kai, they walk in with like a steaming thermos and just set it in front of Casey. Just drink,
Aw.
and then just walks out.
Casey, I think just picks it up, like goes to take his, was like, it's hot, like,
She's already on it.
yeah. I honestly, genuinely think that Kai, especially after Salida, may be even more terrifying than Hall, but in a much quieter way.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm glad that we have her.
Same. Are you good? Are you
I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to get done. Speaking of, and then she just goes through all of her papers and then finds the like stack of papers for Casey of like community oriented like check when you're feeling better, do like check with people, do the thing like decide have people decide what they want like the bunker to be, like make a poll, do that type of thing, and just like basically Casey oriented tasks of how to make bunker life comfortable and nice.
Can
I guess.
I just ask a quick question to confirm my headcanon?
Sure.
In my mind, I'm imagining you, like any of you seen like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Amy Santiago?
Yes.
I'm imagining
Yes.
you
Oh my
with a
God.
perfectly tabbed binder with all of this stuff.
I had never
That's
made
in
the
my
connection
headcanon.
between those two characters before, but now that I have, I've connected
Just
them.
immaculately
connected?
organized and labeled.
Yeah.
You're tabbing through. It's like, here's Casey's guide to
This is Casey's task list. So the last few since the tech and you guys gone and everything, here are some things that I would, if you could, do when you're not cold as shit. And taking care of yourself. I think it'd be a great idea for, since we have a much larger community now, kind of getting an idea of what their like dream bunker life would be, I guess. And I think
So,
that you'd be great to take that over.
What you're doing is giving me license to HGTV this shit.
With less budget.
Listen, limitations breed creativity, right? That's just the story of this kind of whole operation we've got going on here.
I mean, I'm waiting on Camilla's inventory check to see what we actually have working with, but I thought giving you the reins to sort of ask everyone and see like what they want this space to be, what tasks, what projects they've envisioned, and things like that.
I'll kind of poke my nose around and see what our inventories of various things are looking like, see what we need from runs, to get whatever we need to kind of make this place, cozy for the winter and stuff.
Yeah.
And keep us all from going stir crazy down here.
Yeah. Once Camilla has that, I just gesture to the board of our territory, and we'll just put up basically run requests on the board, and have this be basically Maisel is trying to set up everything in one night for everyone else can make it.
Yes, I shall look for your memo on my desk by 8 a.m. Tomorrow, or EOD. Is that what the business kids said?
End of day.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't go to college, so.
Sorry.
I think Casey's gonna look over at the bulletin board, and I think Casey's just a little bit it's a bit like the post adrenaline surge of the combined shock of of jumping in the freezing water and then coming off the hypothermia. But I think they're just a tiny bit oh my god, we did it, giddy. I think they just glance over at the bulletin board that Maisel's saying, you realize that you're just making a quest board, right?
A little bit, yeah. Little bit, yeah.
Some things never change. Eat something. And then Casey's going to push the food closer to Maisel. And I think that pushes it off of the map that they had set it on. And I don't think they clock what the map is of, but I think they at least see it. And then they'll take their steaming mug and their ream of papers off to
Casey, I want you to give me just an empathy roll, just straight empathy.
I'm very good at this. It's 2 6s.
Okay, so here's what I will say. These are. I'll say this. Even in that sort of post adrenaline kind of borderline hypothermic, kind of sort of amped kind of state where you're your body is shaking and you're not sure if it's from coming down from adrenaline or if it's from the cold. There's a moment where you have sort of a piercing moment of clarity as you're looking at your friend, who, as you're walking away, still has not touched her food and is still just writing and pinning things onto the board. It becomes clear to you that Maisel is... You guys kind of are a bit... You're kind of at the end of the line here. This is where you were going. And in a bunker like this, a lot of the stuff that you guys had to worry about at the university and before is sort of off the table. You've got power, you have a hydroelectric generator, you have food stores. Granted, you don't know how big the food stores are, but it's bigger than any single storage of food that you have seen in the last 3 years. And you are secure, much more so than anywhere else that you've been. Maisel, the sort of determination and ferocity with which Maisel is attacking this problem is sort of disproportionate to what needs to actually get done in a way that I think to Casey would feel like the actions of someone who is needing to get stuff done in anticipation of something. It's like the actions of somebody who is just trying to clear the end of their to-do list as fast as possible so they can get on to other things.
Yeah, I think like that. I think that gets through to Casey, but they've already like stepped away.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably what they'll do is they'll go chat with a few people, and then they'll probably set up their like actual like what they're working on after they've gone and checked in with a few people about like food stores and just asked a few people to like think about how they want to arrange stuff. I think they'll probably come back and start making notes like in the same room that Maisel is working on, and I think they're at the very least like attempting to just distract or dissuade or Maisel from running herself entirely into the ground.
Yeah, I could easily see a situation where like Casey's like, here, like puts the plate into Maisel's hands and is like, you talk, I'll write and eat. And like,
yeah, I think that's fully what she does. At one point, like Maisel turns around, like reaching for something, and Casey just sets the plate in her hand and is like, "You tell me what goes on that board."
Yeah,
and I'm gonna write it. Okay.
Okay. And we'll most
Don't
like
put that down until you have eaten all of it.
Okay. And we'll start like telling Casey everything about the bunker and nothing about anything else.
I'm gonna cut over to Kit real quick in the aftermath. Where's Kit?
I think I'm instantly curious about like the stockpiles that are being done.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to go, and like I don't really feel like being conversational with a lot of people, but I do want to go kind of take a peek at like the weapons room and see what's in there.
Sure.
And yeah.
Yeah. You sort of walk in and you see a probably mid-20s or mid-20s something Latina woman, probably about 5 foot 5'2" in that sort of range, kind of with a clipboard sort of going around marking stuff down on a clipboard. She looks over at you, says, "Hey, you helping with the inventory or?"
I want to look around and just kind of take a mental note as to like what's in there real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's not like a ton in the way of like any kind of like major weaponry. That said, listen, apocalyptic death cult in the mountains, apocalyptic prepper death cult in the mountains. There are some ARs in there. You know there are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a ton of them, but there's probably, I'd say, about maybe like 8 or so that are just sort of leaned up on the racks. There's a lot more ammunition than there is like actual firearms, but you can also see places where there were probably supposed to be some weaponry that isn't there, or maybe got moved or something, yeah, that's kind of what you see right away. There's also like crates of supplies that haven't been opened yet, that basically didn't get like properly stored.
I just kind of want to take that all in. And I look over at her and go, just getting the lay of the land. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's like, you're welcome to stay, just don't move anything.
Okay.
And she just, like, basically ignores you from that point on, just like...
I'm gonna go walk around some more.
I'll say as you're leaving that place, you kind of turn and you see on like one of the racks you see someone sort of watching you, and you know immediately that it's nobody from your group. A young girl, probably like couldn't be older than 15, maybe 15, 17, somewhere in that range. Very like dressed in like a studded leather jacket, is wearing like inexplicably wearing like ripped up like fishnet stockings with like cut off shorts over it, cut off like jean shorts over it, and she just sort of like, and like big like combat boots, just sort of looking at you, just sort of staring at you as you're passing through. She looks like she's like in the middle of something and just sort of like frozen, just kind of watching you.
Sorry. It's too late to put Hot Topic out of business because they kind of already are.
She looks at you and just like does like that like disgusted like, and then it goes back to what she's doing, but
I fully don't have the fucking time right now.
You have the time to get into a fight with a 15-year-old you.
It looks over and sees through time and is like, ah, shit, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
She seems fine.
Yeah.
So who else was in the tunnels with us? It was Hall and
Kai, the nurse.
Okay.
I think that's it. I don't think there was anybody else there.
Yeah. It was
Where is Hall right now?
Hall? Actually, Hall is probably currently on her way here to like the storage locker. So like as you are leaving, kind of going down the hallway, you can kind of see her coming towards you. And she locks eyes, like makes very like intense eye contact with you as she's like coming down the hallway.
I kind of nod into a side room.
She just nods. She doesn't hesitate. She just nods. And you go in.
I fully close the door behind us.
Mm-hmm. Goes. Yeah?
I don't know you.
Great. Are we stating obvious things here? What's happening?
So I don't know if I can trust you.
Is there a question coming in here somewhere?
You obviously have thoughts, so just say whatever the fuck it is you're thinking. Get it out.
So just so that we're clear, we've established that there is no trust between us, and the first thing that you're going to do is ask me for my thoughts. I'm just trying to make sure that I understand our situation here.
They trust you. And I want to believe that.
Okay.
So if you're thinking anything in particular over the shit you saw, then just fucking get it out so we can move past it.
I think you're misunderstanding our situation here. See, you're not sure about trusting me. You know that your friends, they trust me. And I've seen that they trust you. My job here is to make sure that if for whatever reason that trust fails, that's when my job starts. So, I don't know anything about what you've been through. I don't know anything about you. And honestly, I don't care. The only thing that matters to me is if you put anyone in this bunker in danger. Understand this. I will not hesitate to put you down. That answer your question? Are we done here?
Yeah. We're done.
She walks past you, opens the door, and makes her way back, like to the equipment lockup.
I think I stand there for a minute. And then I'm gonna go find wherever my stuff is stashed and find my pack.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna kind of do a personal inventory of what I have in it.
Sounds good. Alright. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that the next few days begin to pass as people start settling in, feeling the relief at their uncertain circumstances becoming a little bit more secure, and sort of beginning to take up tasks and responsibilities within the bunker. And the next few days sort of blend together into just a couple weeks, as life in the bunker begins to take shape. A sort of calm equilibrium begins to assert itself over the survivors within the bunker, and where before you were sort of two kind of groups working together towards the same goal, the sort of borders between those groups begin to crumble just a little bit, as people begin inhabiting the same spaces and actually getting a moment outside of the hostile environment outside, to actually interact with each other in a way that is not necessarily about tasks. I'm going to say we're going to cut to Casey approaching Camilla, just with a quick question, and as you finish sort of explaining your idea to Camilla, she just sort of nods, says, "Look, as long as you stay within the daily rationing, I don't see a problem with it. The only thing the only thing that I will say is that there's not. It's pretty clear that these people didn't intend to be here for very long, so it's not quite as stocked as we would have hoped. It's stocked for maybe a month for the people who are supposed to populate it. With a group as small as ours, we can stretch that out to spring, maybe a little bit more, but as soon as spring comes around, we have to start planting things. So yes, you can do your fucking idea or whatever, just You stay within the ration plan.
Absolutely, and that's like the whole point of the show is like limited options. So like listen, I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out for it.
Just if somebody makes something that's complete garbage, they better fucking
Great.
eat it.
I mean, we're eating whatever they make, so that's nothing if not incentive to make something that tastes good. The stakes have quite literally never been higher. I know they
Don't
said that all the
fucking do
time.
that shit with me. She just says, I don't think it's cute. And then she just says, fine, yeah, that's good. Just don't let Ron near any of that. Don't let him participate. Please. Remember
You know
that
what?
time he tried to make stew?
I've tried to forget it, frankly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyway,
Excellent taste lacks the mechanical skill to follow, like to cater to it.
I'd say it's probably like the tail end of this conversation that Gabby overhears. Like not probably you have not yet been approached with this idea yet, Gabby, but you're hearing the tail end of this conversation as Camilla goes, "Fine."
Ah, steaks. God, I wish.
Yeah, Gabby. Yeah, Casey's just like Gabby, just the person I wanted to see.
Oh no.
Hi. Let's. Would you mind? And like Casey's going to begin walking them towards the pantry. So, absolutely harebrained idea. I know people are starting to get to know each other, but there's still like I just feel like we need a little bit of an icebreaker. And what better way than? And I know this. I am a caricature of myself. What better way than games, right?
How long have we been here?
At this point,
This
it's probably
bunker?
been you're probably beginning the second week there.
Okay. About, I figured this would have come up sooner. I was betting on like within the first week.
You should have
that
seen the
something would-
ream, the
something would
tome,
come up.
the
Yeah.
stack of papers I was given by our Lord and Commander. I had to work through that first.
Oh, Maisel. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did the boss say? What are our orders?
I was supposed to, do the thing that I usually do. Was most of that, but take stock and see kind of what people have, what arrangements people wanted to get for like sleeping, eating schedules, like kind of the things that keep people happy. And I had an idea that I was just talking to Camilla about, and I think
Okay.
Casey pushes open the door to the pantry and says, "Behold."
There is food here.
Yeah, there's food.
Mhm.
A bunch of like MREs and canned stuff, which I think if we just eat variations of bits of bland rotations of this, we're all gonna go nuts in the next few months,
Oh.
stuck in here.
Oh.
Did your family ever watch Chopped? Like on the
That
Food
was-
Network?
Every week. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. That's the idea. So we're gonna have to stay, as you just heard Camilla threatening me with my very mortal life. We have to stay within the ration kind
I
of
see where you're
limits.
going with this. Ooh.
But I
Ooh.
think that Casey's just going to start not like pulling them out of the organization that they've clearly been put into probably at this point, but Casey's going to start like checking labels and things and just be like, I think we can make something happen here, and it will make for a more interesting dinner time experience.
There's just
also-
one I need to ask though.
Uh-huh.
Where are the spices?
Do we have any? Is the
Do we
question.
have spices.
I'm actually going to say that that there is. It's not, anything
gonna be
super
basic.
fancy by any stretch, but there is
Yeah.
a stock of spices, herbs.
I found garlic. I'll just have it in my hands.
Jarred, like stored in oil.
When do we begin?
We have to be able to give people some notice, and I need to round up some contestants.
Okay.
So
we need parameters.
yeah, I would say maybe in a couple of days we can maybe like Wednesday or Thursday night or something.
Wednesday or Thursday night would be good.
Yeah.
Ooh. So we come up with themes?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
probably
And
have
I
to
think
keep it, like maybe not dinner because that's like a big meal, but what if we do it like for a breakfast or a lunch kind of thing?
Really a little afternoon. A little like afternoon siesta kind of deal. Like come hang
Yeah.
out. We'll
Snack
we'll
time.
turn lunch into a whole fun thing.
Bunker tapas. I don't know. We could do something with this.
All right. And I think they begin to brainstorm our first contestants. Okay. Who do we think would be the best one? Who do we think, looking over our list of NPCs, would be the best cooks on here?
We have like our list of NPCs and like 10 more people.
Yeah. So
Ron, right out.
Oh yeah. Ron's gonna be one. Kai and Hall, I'm sure they'll have something good. I bet Nick has a secret culinary skill.
I would believe that. I would believe that man can turn anything into excellent tasting food.
I'll tell you this.
What about Professor Castle?
You guys already know that Demian has like a lot of experience turning scraps into like decent food from his life being kind of a drifter. So like
contestant or judge though?
See, that's a good question. Yeah. We have to decide. Like
Demian
the people
needs to be here. Mm-hmm. Did you see that magic he worked with the moldy bread? I never thought I would have French toast ever again, but damn.
Yeah. Okay. I think. You know what? Since it's our idea to like run the game, why don't we be the judges for the first round? Demian can be a contestant. Yeah. I'm really tempted to just like see if Anvil will do it, but I don't. I think she's too cool for that. Who's actually? You know what? I think what's the leader of the other camp's name?
James.
I think we should put James on there.
So we have to bring both camps into it.
Yeah, 100%.
This is team building. This is making friends. What better way to bond than over crazy food concoctions, right?
Exactly. I mean, and mealtime is just a naturally communal thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, we got James, we got Demian. Should probably have a third.
Shaw.
All right. I respect it.
Shaw uses MREs, right? Should be familiar with MREs.
He should be familiar enough with them.
Those weird brown bags, right?
He's got to have some way of making those things palatable, right? Yeah. That had to be part of like his like training, right? Not really like training. It just happened because I can't imagine eating those things for years.
Soldier food is
get
weird.
Ready. I think we probably have been eating some variant of MREs for years, though. Yeah. up to this point.
I'm gonna say at this point we're gonna cut to like that actually happening, and the person that you actually have, who is, kind of immediately like one of the contestants. As you're kind of watching this happen, Casey holding a stopwatch, and like you see is actually one of Kit's group. He's probably like maybe early to mid 30s or so, heavy set, but like you can tell that like it's like very stocky of build, but like muscular underneath, and like big sort of like just huge, just sort of handlebar like mustache, curly red hair, always wearing a trucker hat. This is you've come to know this is Chuck.
I was wondering if this was Chuck.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, y'all ready? He says, because I'm telling you, I'm gonna treat you all to a good old-fashioned farmer's breakfast, aka the trucker special.
I was gonna ask, like breakfast themed for the
Yeah.
first one. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
give us the truck special.
And
Casey, like, holding the stopwatch, is calling out, like, you have 90 seconds, contestants. You should be plating right now. Come on.
I'll just be a goblin that goes around to each one. It's like, you're mixing up that with that? Interesting.
he,
You better watch those good times.
Chuck just looks at you and says, "Hey, don't try before you buy, young lady." And like, he's like, or don't buy before you try, young lady. And he just sort of like keeps,
I'm just taking a whiff.
Yeah. And so I'll say like almost everybody who isn't actively engaged with another like essential task in the bunker is like here watching, and there's like people cheering, like cheering on their contestant or whatever. Maisel, you're kind of sitting kind of towards the back of this, just sort of leaning against the wall, just sort of watching all this, and just kind of looking at people's faces and hearing like laughter and joviality to like a degree that you haven't in a long time. You can see kind of like the friendly rivalries kind of happening between like James's group and yours, as people starting to kind of friendly ribbing each other, kind of like, how the hell did you guys survive with this? Like what like you're one to talk, and like like just like that kind of like back and forth. And you're kind of watching this all. At one point, Casey, you kind of keep glancing over at Maisel, just kind of like watching all this, and just Maisel, what's going on as you're looking at all this?
I mean, Maisel does have a smile on her face. It's hard to like not be like happy about this type of thing. But it's clear that she's less engaged in like what's actually happening, and then like truly like looking over everyone, and kind of she's starting to feel like she definitely feels like she made the right call of like putting Casey in charge of the populace, and is kind of if Casey had the like feeling of Maisel was like frantically getting her to-do list done, it's definitely looking like now Maisel is seeing like having that like satisfied like, okay, good, I'm checking things off of my to-do list, like things are going okay. And I am possibly the like, oh, the burden is lifted, but there is maybe a little bit of like, great, I am not needed right now, which is good.
And as that feeling settles in, Maisel, new thoughts start kind of replacing them. The memories of Salida and the airstrip, and watching Seth and his people over the cameras at the front door trying to break their way in, and those thoughts just sort of like a sound in your head that once started begins reverberating off the walls and getting louder and louder until you don't even hear the ambience of the room. You're just sort of there, kind of staring off, not really seeing the room, instead seeing Seth holding up his gun, pointing it at Nick on the ground, beaten and bruised, until you can feel it, that feeling, that fire in your stomach rising up into your throat, threatening to just choke you, and you feel you need air.
Yeah, I will leave.
Yeah.
I will go out and go out of the bunker and like sit on top of the hill that the bunker's on.
Casey, at one point you're looking at the stopwatch, and you're looking, and you kind of glance over to kind of like to where Maisel is, to kind of give her like a big grin, and you see her leaving. You see her back leaving the room.
Sorry, 15, 14, 13.
Yeah.
Like in case he starts counting down the remaining few seconds, but there's just like that. Oh, god damn it.
All right. I'm gonna say, Maisel, as you go outside, and you kind of you step out of the bunker, and you are just gonna stand outside in the kind of crisp, chill mountain air, late, kind of at night, and in looking up, you can kind of, in spite of the fact that like in over the course of the last week, the first early like dusting of snow has already hit the mountain, right now it's completely clear outside, and you can look up and you can actually see over the treetops. You can kind of catch glimpses of the moon, just sort of this little crescent right now, and just a like crystal clear starry sky. I'm actually going to go ahead and say, as you're standing right in front of the door, Frankie, you're just sitting on top of the like literally just feet dangling over the front of the bunker, and you when you see the door open and Maisel steps out, and just you watch as Maisel steps out in front, looks up at the sky, and just takes a deep breath.
What's up?
Oh, hi. You're not watching the Chopped?
Oh, I did for a bit, but I needed to, I needed to get some air.
Me too. I'll go up. I'll like climb my way up and sit next to Frankie. I needed some air too. What's up?
I'm just maybe thinking too much. It's well, it's Kit, Kit's back, and we've all been through a lot. I don't think I fully. I think I'm missing something important. I don't know. I think I may have. Come on too strong.
When? 3 years ago or right now?
3 years ago, that doesn't feel real.
Yeah. I mean, if it was 3 years ago, she was dying, so...
No, the other day, I think she needs to... I think I need to let her come to me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it was her, and...
Me either. I had a bit of a breakdown there. I kind of put her whole thing as the reason why I, stepped up and could have done more, and now she's alive. Now I'm here, faced with the choices I've made. Choices I didn't make. And it's all a lot. I don't know. I understand why you don't like bunkers. Or havens.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting around to it eventually, but it's always the same. And out there, it makes more sense out there, believe it or not.
I don't know if anything makes sense,
Uh,
but
fair enough.
I understand feeling trapped. More so now than I ever have. It's like, kind of like, why do anything if everything's just gonna be shitty no matter what? But at least everyone's safe. And some of them are having a good time. So that's not nothing.
Frankie is gonna just kind of pull out the moonshine and is just gonna
Oh
like
my
take,
god.
uncap it and just do like take a sniff, just to kind of offer it to you.
Paint thinner.
You know, ever since Casey and Kit did that in the gas station, I never really did any drinking, but fuck it, you know? And I will just fucking go for it, like, super hard.
Okay, I'm doing this because, but I need
Yeah.
Maisel. I want Maisel to roll an endure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Maisel has never had hard liquor before in her life and is gonna pound
Yeah.
some fucking paint thinner moonshine, like
Yeah.
I'll let you know that my endure is real good.
Oh boy.
Alright,
Oh, we're gonna see a whole new side of Maisel.
yeah.
This is great.
can I add my issues delusional to this?
I don't think you can add.
I didn't think so.
Subtracted die maybe.
But no, that's it. That's the end of that sentence.
Okay.
Oh my god. Come on.
Yep,
Come on.
1 success.
Okay, Maisel, it's not pleasant, but
Yeah.
it's not the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to stomach a lot
Yeah.
of unpleasant flavors and a lot of unpleasant things in the last few years. This is like, it sucks, but in a way that kind of, for a brief moment, just like distracts you from like, it like sort of shocks you out of like your feelings in that moment. And yeah.
Terrible, but good. Okay, here, and I just pass it back.
Yeah.
Frankie takes a smaller sip. Just kind of looking at, kind of side-eyed Maisel, and then kind of just looks fully at you and is like, so, like, usually when we don't have too much of a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
This is nice, but I have to ask, what's going on?
Well, you weren't there when, well, you were kind of there, but not really. When we were in Salida, there's been a lot of moments where, in the last months, where every decision I've made feels like I've either made a decision and it's gone wrong, or I've not made a decision and it's gone wrong, or I'm stuck and I can't find the correct solution and someone else takes care of it. Which is good, I guess. But in Solito, when Nick got captured and we were held at gunpoint by those people, I couldn't do anything. none of my wily ways of talking to people or trying to convince people did anything. And we were gonna die. And I could have done something, and I didn't. Because I didn't think that that was me. And now I realize that it could have been. I just didn't. And now I want to. I want to protect everybody. And they don't need me here right now. Everyone's fine-ish. Enough. I can't be around Casey when I do this. So, I think you'd understand. That's all. Do you want to go to Salida with me?
Well, you're not going alone.
Yeah. I can't bring Casey or Gabby. The look of disappointment on Gabby's face I can't handle again, and Casey already looks at me like I'm dying, so...
No, I'm not letting you go on your own, and if you are... if you've made up your mind...
They found us once, Frankie. They've got tanks and so many guns and a fortress, and they go around hurting people so that they can get enough to survive. Other than just us, I even told them where our old haven was to try to get them to give us medicine. And if anyone is alive still there, or went back to see if any were survivors, I can't let them hurt the people I've tried to protect. I failed once, and I'm not going to again. I'm not gonna.
What do we do then? We become like them.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. The world just keeps hurting people no matter what, so. I had the moment to kill their leader, and I didn't. Because I didn't want to face myself if I did. And now I can't face myself now that I didn't. Knowing that they've found us.
Alright. I want you to know I trust you. And I'll back you on this. I just want to make sure that you're sure. And because eventually, hopefully, there's some semblance of normalcy, and at least we'll feel like we deserve to be part of it. We can't lose our humanity.
I don't know. I want to be sure. I don't know. I can't stop thinking about it. And I can't be around others without thinking about it. And I can't sleep at night knowing that they could be here any moment. Like, come spring when we have to, like, plant and go on runs, and they're here. And what's the fucking point of us being in the bunker if they're just gonna find us? What's the fucking point of anything? Things just keep happening, and I don't have the courage to do what I know should be done. I failed once, and a bunch of people died. Because when Shaw told me that he believed in me and I didn't believe in myself, and a bunch of people died. And then I tried to step up as much as I could in the other bunker, and that wasn't enough, and everyone died. And then again, and Nick almost died, and you almost died, and Casey and Gabby almost died, if not for Kai, and I didn't do anything. And now the day of James, and I didn't know, and I didn't notice Kit having those bites, and it didn't let us go back to save her if she were alive. I have to take action to save everyone at least once. I don't care.
Right. Shit, I'll
Sorry. This is a lot. I just... You were the only one I could tell, because I knew that no matter what, even if we don't have hearts to heart, I know you. Ever since we were in high school, I knew you always had my back. So... Sorry. I've been keeping this all in for longer than I expected. And I'm ready.
just need to grab my bag.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that Kit, I don't think you heard all of that. Not the whole conversation, but you got enough to understand the gist of what is taking place. You sort of standing a little ways away, obscured by the kind of the vegetation of the mountain, lightly dusted in snow, obscured by the evening's darkness. Listening to these two people that you used to know pretty well, having this conversation.
I think I stay quiet because I feel like I've intruded. And I want to wait enough time, like if they're going back in the bunker for anything, I want to wait enough time that I'm not like immediately following them in.
Sure.
Who's monitoring the weapons right now? Is there anybody? Is everybody?
Right now, I think it's probably... Actually, right now it's probably Shaw. He's not, like, actively monitoring their weapons, but he is, like, in a room just down the hall from the weapons locker.
I think I'm just gonna walk into the locker, to be honest. I'm gonna walk in that room.
Okay.
Um,
You trying to be quiet at all?
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth roll.
Am I considered as being on my own right now?
Yes, I believe, as at least within the conditions of your ability, I believe so.
Okay.
If I remember
Because then I
correctly.
get another... Okay. I don't have enough dice for that, so... I'm gonna roll
God.
these, and then I'm gonna roll 2 more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Ugh.
Oh, I still have 1 stress, though, so I'll roll my stress with this, too, and then I'll roll 2 more regular.
Okay.
Okay. That's 1 success. And I'm gonna reroll 2 of these, because I rolled 8 dice, and I should be rolling 10.
Okay.
That's 2 successes. It's also a 1 on the stress die, though.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, so the way that I am going to handle this situation is that instead of treating that as like I'm gonna treat that messing up as an additional success for Shaw, and so basically at this point you have the same number of successes. So the way that I think this is going to play out is that I'm going to say you managed to get into the equipment locker and without anyone noticing. What are you doing?
I want to see if there's anything small but useful that I could take. Handguns, grenades, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's definitely like there's definitely a handgun. Not a whole lot in the way of grenades.
Okay.
Other than was it Gabby that has them?
Mhm.
Other than Gabby's, there's probably only like 2 or 3 others.
I think seeing that, I'm gonna put a couple of those in my bag first.
Mhm.
That way, that's already done if I get caught,
Mm-hmm.
because I am trying to operate quickly.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna pull out the handgun and look at it and pull out mine, which is in very poor condition and jammed and useless.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, this one is in, I would say, this one's in bad condition, but it functions.
But it's not useless.
It's not broken, so...
Block. Bad.
Bad. Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna be looking, because I have shotguns
Right.
in this time, but I am still not the most familiar. So I'm
Shotgun
literally,
barrel?
I am literally looking at it, figuring out what kind of ammo this one takes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know super well.
So I'll say at this moment is when I'll have, like, the other thing happen, which is that, you don't hear him coming until he's right outside, and you kind of, like, turn around as Shaw walks in. He, like, with a couple of weapons that he was clearly cleaning, he comes in and stops and looks at you, just kind of takes in the whole scene, and then just goes, "It's those over there."
Thanks. I hold up my, like, broken one, and I just go, just swapping out, you know?
He nods, and he comes and, like, sets the 2, like, handguns that he was cleaning, sets them onto the rack, and just kind of, like, looks at you and you're like, "May I?" Oh,
Sure.
he takes your broken gun and kind of looks at it and goes, "Yeah," he says, "I think I could probably get this back in working order. I'm not much of a gunsmith myself. It's like I can clean them, but it's like I could probably figure something out. He kind of sets it down. Says, I'd have to take it apart first to make sure, but he just sort of looks at you and says, "So," he kind of looks at your bag and he glances around, and just says, "I don't need to know, but you're not running, are you?"
It's not.
Look, really, you don't need to tell me anything. I'm asking because I was there in the aftermath of, and I saw what it did to them. And I'm asking for them.
Might want to keep your people in check then. Not everyone wants to keep me around.
I mean, I can guess who you're talking about. Yeah, she's kind of a pill sometimes.
Who knows? And you're, I'm assuming you remember what I'm talking about, so.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not trying to just take off, okay? I'm trying to set myself up for success in case I have to.
He nods. Says, yeah, I get that. Just try to remember. I know you. Well, I don't know. But I can imagine you've been through some shit. Just try to remember we all have.
You sound like James.
Maybe he's right. I'm not saying that to take away from anything that you've been through. I don't know what you've been through, but I before you go off trying to, I had a moment when I wanted to just go off by myself and just, I don't know, be by myself, get myself killed. I don't know what I wanted, really. I didn't know then. I haven't really talked about this since the place we went after we left you. It was fine for a minute, but nobody was prepared for what we were actually dealing with. It was set up like a refugee camp, like a temporary shelter, and we weren't ready. My dad was in charge of that place. Just not equipped. It's not what we were there to do, to deal with. And when we had to leave, they got him. Only it didn't kill him. I did. I was the only one around. And I was not gonna let him. Point is, after that, I just lost it. And by it, I mean my will to maybe not live, but to just keep pushing on, you know. I was just a shell. Your friends are the ones who pulled me back. Made me realize that I couldn't just... I couldn't do it alone. And I shouldn't. They gave me something to... They anchored me back. I don't...
You think I want to just do that? You think I just want to
I don't know what you want, Kit. Nobody
go out
does.
on my own?
That's my point. None of us know what to think. Just... whatever. You...
I
really...
want people not to look at me like I'm a fucking monster. Okay. I'm a freak. I know. I'm well aware. I don't need to be constantly fucking reminded of it. I don't need to be...
Kit, I'm confused as hell, but I don't give a single fuck about whether you got bitten by one of those things, a dog. I don't give a shit. You're here, and nobody expected you to be, but here you are. I don't see a monster. I see somebody I never expected to see again. And if my dad came walking through that door one day, you think that I would take it for anything but what it was? A goddamn fucking miracle. Just think about that. That's all I'm saying. He like reaches up onto the shelf and pulls down a box of rounds and puts it in front of you, and then just walks out.
I'm just gonna kind of swipe it off the counter and shove it in my bag.
I think this is a moment for us to take our break. A little late, but we also got started a little later. So I'm going to go ahead and just take us to break here, and we shall be back very soon. welcome back, everybody. We return from break. When we left off, things were settling down in the bunker, and as they settled down, they began to come apart.
So many emotions. Oh God.
I think right now where we'll pick up is probably a couple hours later. Out on a woodland trail, probably about a mile out from the bunker. I'm gonna pick up with let's see. I'm gonna pick up with Frankie and Maisel. So, actually not that. Let's go with this one. So, Frankie and Maisel, you find yourselves sort of crunching through the frozen, but not yet entirely snow-covered grass and brush that sort of has overgrown a lot of the trail. You are probably about a mile out from the bunker at this point. You have your packs over your shoulders, wearing your cold weather gear. As you know that shelter is going to be sort of at a premium over the course of these next few months, or however long this crusade will take. The one thing that, as the two of you are walking, you kind of reach a point where you kind of crest a ridge and are able to kind of look down over some of the clearer areas of the foothills before you. It's sort of in a unique position where you can see in kind of like the in the evening, the dim like star and moonlight. You have kind of clear view to both the valley below you and also the ridge behind you where the bunker is. Where you sort of take that moment and you just sort of stop and just sort of look over in kind of both directions. And two things kind of occur to you in this moment. The first is that from this point on, there's not really any turning back. And the second is that after everything you've seen, you know that Seth and his people, they're never going to stop. As Maisel said, the winter maybe, but come springtime, eventually you guys are going to have to leave the bunker, and Seth and his people know that. The two of you kind of share in this sort of unspoken moment as you kind of like take a second and kind of look at the path ahead of you and the one behind.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Thanks. And I'll keep walking.
Right. Here's what I want to have happen in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Kit, I want you to make your stealth.
Mm-hmm.
And Frankie, I want you to make
Ooh.
actually,
Goodness me.
yeah, I want you to make a survival.
Ooh.
Am I on my own right now? Since I'm
Technically, yes.
Kind of.
In the
Yeah.
in the most technical sense, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is a. We both have a handful of dice.
Yep. I still gotta reroll a couple too.
It's a fistful of...
Oh,
A fistful of dice, and for a few dice more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
A fistful of dice, and for a few 20s more. That's what I would call it. Anyway.
Oh, can I? I'm going to use my drive as well,
Okay.
which adds +2.
Yeah, what's your drive here?
Does
Which
that?
drive?
Survivor. If
Okay.
if it's applicable.
I think so. I think it would apply. As you're a survivor, which means you're out and you notice things.
That's right.
Can I also use mine?
What's your drive?
I don't want to be alone.
Ooh, fuck.
I don't know if that works in your favor in this case.
I think it.
But
I think she just wanted to say it because she wanted us to feel bad.
you know what? Fuck it. I'll allow
Hey,
it.
I'm trying to catch up.
I'll allow it.
Oh,
This is good. I hope I roll
I just
ones.
want to know, for my own sake, how many dice each of you are rolling.
12
10.
d6 plus my 1 stress die.
Okay.
Oh yeah, do I roll? Am I stressed
No.
as well? I can roll.
No,
Okay.
Kit has a specific thing, because Kit has no PC
That's very-
or no anchors.
That's correct. Just
So
check
Kit
it.
always has a stress die.
Okay, 2 6s.
God damn.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
I'll say this then, that pardon the phrasing, but the initiative is yours, Kit.
I think. No, genuinely. I think I'm listening into their conversation. The like, are you ready for this? And yeah, right. And I think just like from off to the side, like in the tree line, you guys hear, ready for what?
You both turn, and you see Kit emerge from the tree line, fully like pack over her shoulder and like, yeah, also clothed up for the winter.
How long have you been following us?
How long have you been walking?
So you know what's up, and you want to come? Let's go.
You know where we're going, right?
Kind of.
I'll catch you up along the way. And I just start walking.
Okay. All right. We're gonna cut to sometime later that night. Casey, you're sitting in Maisel's chair, holding, or probably sitting on your own bunk, actually, holding
Yeah.
the letter that Maisel left.
I did all the letters that are in Discord.
Okay.
No, I read it.
Cool.
Like you have read it and you have reread it several times by this point. And at this point, I don't think you're reading it anymore. I think you're just sitting there holding it.
She's just staring at it.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a bunch of people that Casey knows that she should go talk to right now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she's going to go talk to Castle.
Yeah, he's currently
Because I think the part where Casey is sitting there staring at it is she walks herself back 2 weeks to when she slid a plate of food in front of Maisel and like was like, "Hey, take care of yourself," and she remembers what was on the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I think she's just like, and then she goes to Castle.
yeah. Castle is in the oddly extensive library that kind of was placed in this bunker. It looks like the things that are in here are things that were being preserved it looks like there's a lot of culture that was being preserved for the end of the world. And Castle has sort of taken it upon himself to start, to kind of catalog what's there. Although there isn't much for him to do since it was already pretty well cataloged. So mostly it's just him kind of
our librarian.
Yeah. He kind of probably, late 50s or so, long white hair held back in a ponytail, wearing his usual faded gray button down with a leather vest over it and jeans and cowboy boots, just kind of looking nothing like what you would expect a college professor to look like, but there he is, just sort of browsing through. He looks up, goes, "Hey, you here to help me browse? Or you looking for something for your?" He stops when he sees your face and says, "What's going on?"
Casey considers for a moment, not being entirely forthright, and then just shakes her head and says, "Maisel's gone."
Yeah.
She left a note, said that she had something to do, and I think I know what it is. I don't know if you've seen her, but she's been running around this place the last 2 weeks like she's got something to prove, something very important to get to. And I guess I just didn't want to see it, but now it's kind of hard not to.
How do you feel about that?
I'm mad. I am. I feel like I've tried to be there so much, and she won't share any of it. She just keeps taking more and more and more on herself. I found she left her notebook laying open a couple days before we broke into here, and it was just lists, Dr. Castle, lists of everybody, of all of us, and of everybody that's not here anymore. She just wears them like chains. And I'm afraid of who's going to come back. I'm afraid of who won't come back. Even if she does.
He kind of nods, says, "Maisel, I don't know her as well as you do, but I know that she suffers from sort of the curse of utilitarianism. You familiar?"
You're gonna have to fill me in.
Utilitarianism basically means that the morally correct thing to do is the thing that makes the most amount of good for the least amount of harm. And the thing is that's what I think Maisel sees herself as doing. Trouble is, most times utilitarianism, well, like other schools of ethics, doesn't really cover the whole picture. And utilitarians, well-meaning ones, what they tend to forget is that it's just as possible to do harm for yourself, and they become, basically, they make themselves into, the sin eater of the group. The one who takes on the bad for the good of everyone else. And the problem with that is that, well, unintended consequences. Things that you think you're going to be able to handle, but they come out in other ways. the problem is there's never any way of telling what actions are going to cause the most good and what actions are going to cause harm. So that's
You just
what-
gotta.
yeah.
You just have to make a choice and live with the consequences.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like our girl's been able to do that last bit.
No. She never has, not as long as I've known her.
Well, I assume you didn't ask, but I assume that the reason you came here was for advice.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Like I've known her since we were kids, and I feel like most of the time there's something that I can say or something that I can do to get through.
He walks over to you, Casey, and he just puts his hand on your shoulder, and like this is a tall guy, right? He like kind of like leans down so that he makes sure that you two are at eye level, and he says, "Right now, you know me. I don't like to give people any kind of advice, any kind of prescriptive advice. But I'll say this instead, Casey. You just got to take your advice. You make a choice, and you live with the consequences. Shh. So now it's your turn to do that. That's what we all got to do now. Maisel, she made her choice, and if maybe she can live with the consequences, maybe not. That's up to her. But that's not on us, and so now we got to do the same thing."
I think I know what I have to do.
All right then.
I might not be around for a little bit, but
Don't you dare.
Well, I know what I just said. I don't like to give prescriptive advice. I'll tell you what I think. I do have opinions.
yeah.
You, from what you've told me of your friendship with Maisel over the years, it seems like you've got the same problem as her. You can't let some of the stuff go. Some of the stuff between the two of you. Right now, Casey, I think the best thing that you can do, you gotta put some of that stuff to bed. You cannot always be chasing after your friend. And leaving aside the part where I don't want you to do anything that'll get you killed, for you, it's part of growing up, a part you never really got a chance to figure out. Sometimes you just gotta let people go their way.
It really sucks, you know?
I do. And it doesn't really ever get a whole lot easier. You just get better at it.
Yeah. Well, learning experiences all over the place these last few years. Guess we get another one.
Yeah.
Well,
Says,
I'm gonna go.
yeah, you could use a little bit of utilitarianism yourself right now. Be where
Maybe.
you can do the most good. I happen to think that's here. Look at what you've already done. That now they've taken it and run with it. That is you. He like puts his finger in the middle of your chest and says, that is you. You brought people together. It's what you've been doing the whole time I've known you.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time not having a place to be, or people to be with. I like to. I want to make sure other people have that chance.
Then it sounds like you know where you can do the most good.
I really hate it when you're right, you know that?
The curse of being a teacher of ethics.
I'm gonna go talk to James and Shaw.
Sounds good. I'll be here in my kingdom.
We gotta get like a library system set up. You wanna get on that?
They've already got one. He like holds up the book that he was looking at, which actually isn't so much a book so much as it is just a full catalog of like.
All right. Well. And then Casey's just gonna give like a bit of a forced smile, but they'll say, "Since our glorious leader is out, I officially assign you the task of librarian, so you can hunt people for sport if they don't return books."
Says, "All right. Well, I take my charge very seriously." And he just kind of does one of like these kind of. Just goes back to what he said.
And then Casey is gonna go get Gabby and not tell her right away what's going on. Just like, hey, we gotta.
Cool.
Got it.
Cool.
It's important, but I don't want to have to do this more than one time. So.
I will say in the letters I did say that also Frankie was coming with me. I didn't say like, oh, I'm going by myself. I did let them know that Frankie was coming with me. I did not mention Kit because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'd be in so much trouble too.
Okay. I don't know that this necessarily requires a scene per se, but I am curious, Scriv, how does Gabby react to these circumstances?
Gabby hasn't been told anything yet. There was no letter from me. Casey just made it very clear that you want to find me and specifically not tell me. So I'm going to ask where people are. And then I'll leave it up to
Casey...
you and the other two knuckleheads who may or may not know to see if they want to be honest, because I know something's up.
No. I mean,
I'm going to let you dig your own graves.
Casey went and got Gabby, I think, and probably handed her the letter and said,
Right.
Damn right.
Damn right. And then was like, we need to go get Shaw and James, but please, I only want to talk about this once, so let's wait until we have all of us here.
Yeah, you
So
guys.
You handed me the letter though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gather James and Shaw. And you have. Yeah, I think James's reaction to all of this is just kind of he just kind of nods thoughtfully. Shaw looks. You can see that you can see, there's a flash of disbelieving anger, and then just sort of just like a moment of you see not the man in front of you, but you see almost like a lost little boy, and then it's gone. He just sort of controls his expression. He controls it. You can still sense it there. You know Shaw pretty well, and you can still sort of see the tells, but he's focused, and he just kind of nods and just kind of listens kind of to your explanation. You're kind of laying things out, and
yeah, Casey's so to sum things up, Maisel's gone. She took Frankie with her. I'm pretty sure they're going to Salita.
Shaw frowns and you can see he has a moment of realization. He says, "I think Kit went with them."
Great.
Did you see any of this happening, Shaw?
He shakes his head. He says, I saw a kid in the equipment lockup. I thought she was running at first, and then after that conversation, I thought it seemed more likely she was just preserving her own peace of mind. But now I realize she probably knew, and yeah. No coincidences.
Well, there's plenty of things that the bunker does actually need, so I think we can at least... It's only a half-truth to tell everyone that they're on a run if they ask.
We barely got out of there alive last time. Barely. And now they know us. Are we all really fucking okay with this?
No, I don't know what to do. Like, if every single one of us goes chasing after them, there's nobody who these people, like, are familiar with as a leader. Like, our Maisel's gone. Shaw, that leaves basically you and me as common faces for our group of people. And, like, everyone's getting to know each other, but it's only been 2 weeks. Like... James, I don't see you taking off after either of them. Like, I know you like us, but they're not your people.
He shakes his head. He says,
It is.
They're not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever name we're supposed to be using.
They're not, but I was looking forward to them becoming that.
Me too, actually. You know, that was kind of the whole reason that I did all of...
He nods and says, every instinct in me is telling me that we need to go after them and bring them back, but I don't think we can. And I'm not talking logistically.
If they wanted us there, they would have told us. I don't know what's worse. The fact that they got this idea to go to Slido. I get it, yes. They know where we are. They came after us. We want to do something about it, right? All of us do. Or the additional fact that they left without a word.
Left me a list of instructions to replace them.
No. That doesn't fucking count. So what, we get letters? Those letters could be the only fucking thing we have left of them if they don't make it back.
Shaw just says, look, I get we're all pissed about this, but right now we have to do the thing that they aren't doing. We have to look after the people here, right? He looks over at James, and James says, that's what you were going to say, right? And James nods. He says, yeah.
We have to do the most good where we can.
Shaw says, look, I get it. Want to go put a bullet in that slimy bastard myself, but I understand why they're doing what they're doing. But I also understand why we have to do what we have to do next.
Wait and find out.
I just leave the room.
Okay. The the next several weeks,
Hmm.
they
Casey
turn,
takes on Maisel's job.
yeah, yeah, and the next several weeks just kind of turn into a. I mean, there's not a whole lot to figure out logistically. There are still some sections that need their need the kind of like the wiring checked and stuff like that, and a couple sections there have been like vermin that have chewed through wire, and it's like not it's caused some shorts that have like resulted in some busted fuses and things like that that basically could be replaced, but you're basically at a certain point presented with the choice of like, look, we can replace the fuses from and like the parts and like do like redo the wiring in there at the expense of our spare parts storage, or like just to get us up to zero essentially, or we can, you know, basically shut down, like essentially cut power to some non-essential sections of the bunker, and just save those for, you know, the sections that are needed. So I'll say that's a choice that you can make, Casey, if you want.
Choosing between
Using some of your functional but meager stockpile of like spare parts and bits to like repair that stuff, or just like saying okay then, or just saying let's not do that, we'll keep that for this, like the spare parts for essential stuff, and we'll just stop like bleeding power into sections that can't really get it anyway.
I think that's the call that Casey would make. I think Casey would look at it and be like, we're not using these sections anyway right now. If more people, like, if we take on more people or we need additional storage, which we sure as shit don't right now, looking at our supply situation, like, seal them off, like close the doors and lock them, and then like cut power to those sections, and then we save our spare parts until we can replenish our stock, and begin like really fixing the place up. It's a shame we can't really send anyone on a run right now, given that yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you get that kind of taken care of. Some of those sections are sort of closed off. A vermin hunt begins. um, and yeah, like there's, and eventually leads to like a small family of possums that have found their way in somehow that were sort of taken up. Like, yeah, it's yeah. They are as safely as possible relocated to the outdoors. And yeah, the work that begins within the bunker from that point on mostly is the work of planning for what happens once spring comes around. Planning for planting, planning for runs, all that kind of stuff.
Maisel did leave behind all of her like she has an itinerary note of every month up to spring, like literally like just like a whole binder of
Yeah.
it. Like she didn't leave without not giving you guys those things, which may make you even more mad.
Oh no, Casey! Casey is is on one level appreciative of Maisel's forethought, and on the other hand, completely infuriated by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It reeks of little trust.
Yeah.
That's how Gabby is interpreting.
I think
no
Gabby and
trust.
Casey have that conversation, a conversation to that effect.
Yeah.
Once I'm, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Scriv?
In addition to all of that, because I think initially Gabby needed space from you. I needed space from you as well, Casey. And probably Shaw as well. because I suspect that Shaw had an idea when he ran into Kit and didn't bother saying anything as well. Just a lot of all that anger that Gabby was trying to let go of. Yeah, it's all back like worse than before now. This is good. This is good. We have best friends who couldn't bother to be honest. And he left without a word, and just that feeling of betrayal and the lack of trust, and feeling as though these friends that I had respect for have no respect for us or for me. So I am going to dive into my own work and do what I did in the Havens previous, where I am helping people train and stay healthy and prepare, because winter is going to be over and we are going to have attacks and have to be able to defend ourselves again. So whatever we are able to do, even though scouting is not going to be as, easy, still getting people out, I'm continuing to work with Zeke and anyone else who wants to help with defense, because we've been on the road a lot. This is the first chance we have to actually put some semblance of a security system, security processes back in place, and that feels comfortable.
Yeah.
It is something that I can be useful in.
I
Will
would say,
assist with making the early preparations, with the planting and the gardening and all of that.
yeah,
And yeah,
I would
go
say
ahead.
that some of Gabby's work with respect to like making things safer and sort of more secure around probably additionally extend to being approached by your various techie folk and engineers and things like that.
Oh yes.
To basically like create like the bunker door is nice, but it's the problem is you're either in the bunker or you're not in the bunker. And so like some of them have started like approaching you about like building defenses outside of the bunker as well.
We do.
And so yeah, that's kind of
We need surveillance. We need alarm systems. We need to be able to know what's coming before it reaches the door. So absolutely, that's what we need.
like so
And we need to build that now
yeah.
as much as we can, and in some cases use the terrain and the snow to our advantage.
And I could see Gabby like standing sort of at the map, literally like talking to a bunch of the people that she has helped train, like setting up like scout relays, basically, like setting up like, okay, here are the patrol lines, here's like how we'll like relay information and that kind of stuff, and like taking inventory of flares and setting up a system of communicating emergencies via flares and via other like methods of like sort of relaying that information, so that as soon as everybody is ready for that, as soon as you have that, have a like basically a scout network ready to go.
Yep. And that is my focus. I am done crying. I am not thinking about anything else right now, not willingly letting it come to the surface of my mind. I am focusing on doing my job and protecting people here.
Yeah.
Anything else be damned.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right.
I think Casey is doing much the same. I think she has one day a week where she has Shaw take over her responsibilities in terms of the day-to-day operation of the bunker, so that she can focus on organizing community stuff.
Yeah.
And in addition to like the logistics of running the place, she's like set up probably like a board games night, a significant number of which she physically made.
Yeah. I
think I'll probably take part in some of that. Gabby's taking a step back from that for now.
Yeah. You have amongst James's group, you have someone, you have an individual named Julia who was back before everything happened. She worked basically in at a community center as like a program manager, like a program director, and so like you have somebody who is like, you have a partner in that, basically, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So you have somebody who knows how to organize that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah. So that gives you a lot of help with sort of organizing a lot of what you're doing. Oh, and I forgot to mention also with Gabby's stuff that you find actually a fair amount of help in like training people from Chuck of all people, who
Yes,
he
Chuck.
professionally he was a trucker before all this, but he also like served active duty like when he was like he was not active military at the time when this happened, but he had served before, so like you have somebody like help with Chuck as well, so like yeah,
good. Okay, so we'll probably start to build more of a bond there.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So I can absolutely also see a dynamic, because Chuck was 100% a grunt and not an officer. A dynamic between him and Shaw emerging. Because not only are they in different branches of the military, but also one is definitely a grunt and the other one is an officer. And that's just a whole dynamic there.
I'm just gonna add fuel to that as well, and like goad Chuck on.
Yeah, Chuck is always giving Shaw shit, which Shaw does not engage in much, but he's like he's not like bothered by it. You can like he just doesn't engage in it. Right? He's just like, no, we're not doing this.
Oh, come on. I'll probably give Shaw shit for not lightening up. Like, there's no rank structure. There's no hierarchy here anymore. Loosen up, Lieutenant.
He says, look, can't get dirty if you don't stick your hands in the shit.
We're all in shit.
Which I think is like the one and only time that he throws shade in Chuck's direction. It's like the one and only time that he actually like engages. Anyway, but yeah, you guys sort of, life in the bunker kind of begins to emerge and take shape over the course of these winter months. Elsewhere, however, Frankie and Maisel and Kit, I want to know sort of what the trajectory of this looks like. Like how do you approach this whole thing?
Honestly, I think that Kit is asking that exact question.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think there's a night where we're sitting down, getting ready to make camp for the night, and I fully turn to Maisel and go, so what's the plan?
Well, so and Maisel starts to describe it. Like, the one thing that Maisel did do while there was take in everything that was in that base, and she has not forgotten it. Mm-hmm. She has not forgotten the way that the people like seem to like think of Seth as like completely like irreverent, like they would like die to put like themselves in front of him. The way that it was like the base was structured, the cars that they had, it was basically an airfield base. Like the walk layout that they went to Seth's office, where they like stored their weapons and their guns, and like everything that Maisel took in, and also the her like watchful ability of like to sort of like get the vibe of the place is laying all of that out there, as well as asking Frankie about like the layout of the city around them, as well as like best points of egress that she had seen when she was there, like how like what are the like kind of remembering like what the like general blind spots were with like all of the like the snipers in the things, and like all of that stuff, sort of like really like laying out the layout of the place, and sort of kind of her general plan is depending on like she's got like multiple different like plans, but when we like actually get in the town, sort of like casing the joint as much as we can, sort of like getting like the like guard shift relay and like seeing as much as they can from the outside, as well as like how many times they like go in and out and like leave the like the airface, if they have like do patrols around the city, like all of that kind of stuff. Really thinking about that, and then having either depending on skill sets or like good points of egress, is like either like a stealth mission to like hold Seth hostage, or to use the explosives that we have and the explosives that they have to cause as much noise chaos at the airfield, to then get as much noise and chaos in the airfield to then like create like dissent and confusion among the ranks, and then also see if they can't attract as many of the dead as they can.
Okay. I'll tell you, actually, how about this? I'm actually going to have Maisel go ahead and, as you're like all discussing all of this, I'm going to have sort of as a representation of like you guys kind of putting everything together, I want you to make a leadership roll.
Okay.
And before you ask, no, you cannot use the walkie-talkie.
Do I have any stress in this montage?
No, not
Okay.
in this instance.
For how this works, how does using drive work in this sort of montage scenario? Can I use my drive for this and then also use it for like later on, or?
Yeah.
Because it could be like multiple days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Then I will use my drive. Does what it takes.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever used this drive. Because, you know,
yeah,
she hasn't made very terrible calls before. Okay. And then that's drive is like I get to reroll or whatever.
With the drive, you get to add 2 dice to your.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. That is 2 successes.
Okay. So, like, talking this stuff over, like, you realize that one of the things that's gonna be an issue for you as you are there, observing them is gonna be difficult and risky, because you know that they have all kinds of like sentry posts and watches set up and whatever. I think it occurs to your group at a certain point that the only way that you're going to be able to like get the information that you want is that first you have to blind them, which means there probably isn't another way to do that other than engaging in a sort of guerrilla campaign, sort of like just very patiently dealing with their just sort of one by one dealing with their network basically of spies and watchers and stuff.
Cool. Are these like cameras that they have, or are these people?
No, people. They have outposts. Like little like not outposts like fully stocked, like, you know, but like basically places like scouts' nests basically. They have like a bunch of them sort of around.
Like throughout the city and stuff, not just on the base. Cool.
Yeah.
Alright. Cool.
Yeah.
I want to point out, Kit is not just 100% down to do whatever here.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to figure out what the fuck is happening because she doesn't know these people. She wasn't there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to understand what Maisel's actually trying to do here. Because, like, when she's asking what's the plan, it's not just how are we getting in, it's what are we even doing?
My general goal is so that they never come after us again. I don't know what that takes.
So you thought you'd just kind of waltz in there, just the two of you, and make sure that you keep this whole group of people? Like,
Well,
explain to me how this is an actual plan and not a suicide mission. Please.
sorry, everybody.
The ultimate planner did zero planning.
I did a very good plan, except for the actual plan.
Execution.
Yeah. Well, Seth is the mastermind behind all of this. And if we can get to him, he seems to govern by fear, and by fear, and the fear that he governs is that without him, all of those people would be dead. And if I can either find a crack in that or remove him, I don't know.
Have you ever killed somebody? Like, directly? Like, have you done it?
No. No. I have.
I don't fucking want to, okay? You're saying he leads by fear. You're only going here because you're afraid.
I'm going here because, yes, I'm afraid. Who wouldn't be? Where
Kept
did
him
we...
out before. You think you're gonna do this by your fucking self? Like, you're just gonna fucking leave. You're just gonna leave. Leave everybody behind. And I turn and I kind of glare at Frankie too, and I say, and you're just gonna fucking leave me behind again and go on this fucking suicide mission. You have pieces of information. You have facts. You don't have a plan. This isn't something you can just do alone, okay?
I left because I don't want anyone else to be hurt. If I get hurt, so what? So what? Nothing I've ever done has made any difference. So,
Maisel. Kit reaches into her collar and pulls on a chain. And she pulls out the key from the adventure mobile. You saved my life.
I didn't even notice that you were dying.
You kept me alive. I stayed there until it wouldn't move anymore, and then I stayed there anyways. You're acting like you don't do shit to protect people, but you do, okay? And this fucking chaos? You shouldn't have to go through that shit. It's not.
I had a chance to kill him, and I didn't. And I can't stop thinking about it. Ever since they found us, they know that I know come spring they're gonna be there. army can't take them down because they are one, but a small group of assassination attempts could maybe have a chance. Are we just gonna be running from them our whole lives? Or do we threaten them into showing that they can't push us around?
I think 3 of us are gonna.
Frankie's just he's just like chewing on a stick and kind of looking off, and then kind of stands up and kind of looks around at you two. And, well, I've been thinking while we've been out here, which is why I go out and I've left so many times in the past. Always coming back with supplies, of course. I always find that I have a clear head. I think what you want to do could work. But not in the way that you imagine it, and not the way we're doing it. Because it would be brazen and suicidal to go in there. But perhaps if we cause a little bit of mischief at one location, make it seem like our numbers are grander than they are, and then head back and grab some things.
I know you weren't there, Kit. And I know you weren't there either, Frankie. But they beat Nick to a pulp. They beat him to a pulp and held him at gunpoint in front of us, threatening to finish the job if we didn't give them everything.
Did you get him out?
Kai did. Kai snuck away and got us that bus. And we got Nick and Casey and me and Gabby out. And there was a moment when they were shooting at us, and I could have shot back. But I didn't. And we left. I can't stop thinking that I was a coward. Our lives were on the line, and I didn't have the guts to do it. Just like...
Good.
Good?
Yeah. That's not you. You don't kill people in cold blood. You don't fucking... You take care of people. You don't...
A lot of good that's done. You know how many people have died?
Do you know how many people have lived?
Our haven got destroyed, and I don't know why. and I don't know how. And I made the call that we wouldn't go back. I made the call that we wouldn't go back in to get people, and
you got everybody out, didn't you? That you could? And they're all alive because you didn't lead them back in to get hurt, right?
but what if they were alive? What if like you people survived, and I decided that their lives didn't matter anymore? And the way that Gabby looked at me, like I was the reason.
Maisel.
Before you can finish that sentence, you hear gunfire. Not terribly far away, but it is just sort of, you hear it from, actually, Frankie, you're listening to it, you hear it, it is entirely too close.
Fuck.
You hear 3 shots, probably from a handgun, and that's it. I will say, as you you kind of making sure that your position hasn't somehow been compromised, you kind of climb up to sort of a vantage point, and you can see, like, you're kind of at this point just outside of Salida. You can see it ahead of you, and at this point, while you guys are talking, it's sort of like probably, I'd say, just as the sun is going down, as you are looking over, you can see the road into Salida, and what you see is a car that looks like it has some just sort of small attempts at fortifying it, at least a little bit, and the doors are all open, and you see a bunch of people standing around. The trunk of the car is open, and you see that a couple people are looking into it. They all do appear to be armed. It's probably about a good, like, I'd say it's probably still about a half a mile away, that you're sort of seeing this. But the thing that you notice is that some of these people, with the doors open, are reaching in and pulling limp forms out of the car and just sort of dropping them on the road.
Fuck.
And you can see that they're sort of standing and, like, kind of just talking to each other. One of them closes the trunk. They all get into the car and turn it around and drive back into Salida, leaving the bodies behind.
Maisel, without thinking, like, runs over to the bodies, like, getting close enough to be like, just, I don't know, not running all the way up, being like, oh my god, are they okay? Just in case they, like, turn into zombies or something, but, like, getting close, and just in case they are alive, like,
Sure.
And just...
Yeah. You walk over, Maisel, and as you kind of reach that spot, you look down. There are 3 bodies here. And you recognize them. They weren't with you, but these are people from the university. Each one has a bullet wound in the head. Just sort of thrown just sort of unceremoniously to the side of the road.
Are any of them looking like they're gonna be was it like first an initial kill and then they turned and then they killed him again, or are
You only
they
heard
just-
3 shots. Yeah.
Fuck.
I will tell you this much, Maisel.
Mhm.
The only way that something like that is even possible is if these people had no idea those shots were coming. They did not fight back.
Maisel will get up and start dragging them like out of the road. Ready to shoot them if they turn into zombies.
Yeah.
But we'll get them out of the road.
Yeah. You know they won't come back. Those bullet wounds were precise. You can, however, looking or glancing around, drawn probably by the weapons fire, you do see like a few of the dead that are just sort of shambling over, but not many.
Okay. I'll look back up to where Frankie and Kit are, and I'll just say, I was right. Some people from the university still survived. And they just killed him.
There's one last thing that I need you to do, Maisel.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to roll to handle your fear.
Hee.
This, I believe, can be either a wits or empathy.
Okay.
You are just rolling wits or empathy. There is no stress dice. You cannot add anything to it.
Okay.
I don't think Maisel has succeeded one of these rolls the entire game.
This is why I like this. Oh, I did! One success!
Okay. Then Maisel, I'm going to leave it to you to decide what your handling your fear in this case looks like. Because it could go one of two ways, and I'm going to let you kind of decide kind of what that looks like in this instance.
You don't do anything. Maisel will close the eyes of these people. And will just put them in a place that is away from the road and away from anything, and doesn't have time to give them a burial or anything, but will just kind of stand up, set her face, and look, even probably sadly to Kit, more determined than ever to take these people down. And will handle her fear into turning it into rage.
Yep. There are no words spoken in this moment between you as you all look at each other, and you feel Maisel burning silently next to you. You see her set her face and turn and look towards Salida. And at this point, Frankie and Kit both know that there is no talking Maisel down from this course of action. One way or another, Maisel is going to do this with or without you.
I think I reach down. And just for a second, I go to grab Frankie's hand. And then, like, at the last second, I, like, change my mind and pull away, and I just kind of stand there.
Well then, I think as the three of you stand, you sort of the view pulls back as the three of you step back off the road, back into kind of the obscuring tree line and brush nearby, and I believe that is where we will stop. All right. So,
Oh man.
before we get too deep into the end of this,
Oh,
we're going to do
man.
XP because I always forget to do it, and we're gonna do it this time. I don't know where I have the physical book now, so I don't, which ironically makes it harder for me to know where things are. Does anybody have that on hand, that knowledge, or
No, I don't.
okay, that's
Which
fine.
what are you looking for?
Where
Like
the
the
XP
experience?
stuff, which is, I believe,
I've got it recorded for what we normally ask.
Okay.
But I don't have
I do
book
think. There we
pages.
go. I know it. I found it. Okay, so, oops. Okay. Here we go. So, here are some post-game questions. Did you participate in the session? You always get one. You always get one, at least one XP.
Minimum 1
So,
XP.
Yeah.
Did you achieve something important? What?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's I can say that that's true of Maisel, definitely Casey. I think Gabby as well in this instance with like your work over the course of, time. I'm not Kit and Frankie, feel free to make your cases if you think there's something that I'm missing, but
I'm good.
I don't think so.
okay.
Yeah.
I think showing up for Maisel was the important thing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Did you learn something?
Yes.
I learned something about our friendships.
Yeah, Casey sure did.
Yeah.
Casey literally learned something from Dr.
That's
Castle
true. That's
today.
true. That's actually a very good point.
Casey
I
literally
learned
learned
that Hall is trying to
something.
kill me.
You say what, Allison?
Oh, I said I learned that Hall is trying to kill me.
Okay.
I don't think
This one
actually
I
did it.
think is a no across the board, which is did you explore at least one
Yeah.
new sector on the travel map? So I think that's a no
Yeah.
across the board. Did your drive, your issue, or any of your relationships make an impact on the session? I think universally yes. Universally yes.
Yes, actually.
Absolutely.
That was the session, actually. It
My
didn't make
drive
an
is
impact.
higher purpose, and I chose higher purpose pretty much at every opportunity this entire session.
They didn't make an impact on the session. They were the session. All right. And nobody had a dearly departed monologue, but does anybody want to for next time? And you can take a loose interpretation of the dearly departed monologue, however you like. So
That's Lucas asking you guys to be mad at me.
I think it's
will.
not that,
I'll
but
hold off because I think I can't remember. I think I may have done our last one.
yeah.
And anything that I write is going to be petty as fuck.
Sure.
I'll take it.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Nice.
So y'all will have that to look forward to. next time.
I
It's gonna
see.
be so good.
So make sure you record your XP that you gained from this session.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you so much everybody for coming and tuning in. This was a hell of a way to come back. So everyone's fine.
I'm fine. Me, my actual person, I'm fine. That was incredibly cathartic because I've been thinking about it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to go. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in and watching. And it will be obvious to those of you who are watching this that this has aired on YouTube instead of Twitch. But I will say at the end of this that this is pretty much what we're going to be doing going forward for the rest of the season, is airing on YouTube. Because it's just easier to automate things on YouTube than it is on Twitch. So that's what we're going to be doing. So thank you so much for coming and tuning in here. And we will hopefully see you for Ramblemancy on Friday. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone.
Bye-bye.